Watch the entire video, my lovely viewers, I mean from start to finish, to get the whole thing. Without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it. Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button down below. Turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
In the whole country, I'm praying that everybody is moving along.
Okay, so it's interesting that you're in today because not only are you an MP first of all, but you're also a minister who is in charge of something that a lot of people would take as a huge success from this government, which is CDF, and the fact that CDF is the amount is as large as it is. So you sort of wear two hats as I ask you this question. Have you found it challenging at all having to deal with the huge amount of money that is now in that CDF pot, especially when it comes to disbursement and making sure that, first of all, not just in Mazabuka, but in all the other constituencies, that MPs are using that money in the best way that they should be using it?
Well, I think the best way to approach your question, Luchi, is to start by saying what was the intention? Has the intention worked? Has there been impact? What is the impact? And before I delve onto that particular very important question, if you can allow me a minute or two to state that as a party in government, UPND, we were graciously given the mandate by the Zambian people based on the things that we promised. And those things sit in our manifesto. They sit in our aspirations, and to summarize them all is that we first made a promise that if we were given the privilege to run people's affairs, we are going to, as a first point of call, and this was the chorus that our president, Mr. Hichilema, continuously sang, that he's going to deliver the restoration of the rule of law. And that is very cardinal, because in any society where the law has gone to the jungle, there is disorder, there is a problem, and the non-application or ignoring the law as established by a nation through the legislative assembly, those who make law. And law is there to make sure that it's a regulator of people's behavior and conduct. I think simply put, in this country, there was a total breakdown of the rule of law, and unfortunately, it was placed in the realm of political participants who committed criminal activities in the name of a political party. Secondly, the president also said that he was going to deliver freedoms. Okay? So rule of law, freedoms of people. And he has demonstrated that. How? Very briefly, Luchi, the president was the prime mover of the removal of the defamation of the president clause in our statutes, to allow people to say what they want about anything. So to me, that was a giant leap of how democratic a man can be. He, against many, including some of us who doubted, what is he now trying to do? He simply said, let the people have their say. However, there is a caveat, and is where mine begin, and therefore there should be no abuse. We've seen a certain amount of abuse as a result of this, but I think it's all right. Thirdly, the president and ourselves did promise that we are going to bring back national unity. Remember, this country was polarized, divided on the account of ethnicity, to be blunt, on account of creed, and so on and so forth. That has come to an end. This country, Luchi, was known for something that many people, and they need to be reminded, many people abhorred the abhorrent violence, and it came in two different forms. It came in political violence, for political entrenchment, for political hegemony, that if you didn't agree, you must be beaten down to submission, sometimes to a point of death. We have names of people who have gone 6 feet under dead as a result of that political violence that we had. It doesn't happen no more. We also preached economic expansion, and this is now probably now tagging to the question that you asked me about the performance of the flagship program that we have of the Constituency Development Fund. Economic expansion for what? It is expansion for social upliftment, simply put. And that's how I would summarize our UPND manifesto as it stood, that we were going to do these 4 things, and as it is, I can tell you without any doubt in my mind that all of them are firing in 4 cylinders. Obviously, I'm saying all this with hindsight, that there are still some challenges that require to be addressed, and these challenges, I'm not shy to say, they include the cost of living in this country. It also includes things that have come as a result of acts of God, such as the drought that we are facing right now, and obviously the people that may want to argue could combine those two to use as a springboard to criticize, and that's okay. It is fine. We'll take the criticism as it comes, but our eyes are on the ball. Coming to the CDF, the implementation of it in the beginning, I was here, I think, just a year after we began, and I explained that we had gone through some challenges around the application of the CDF, which challenges included the law that existed, the legislation, the legislative barriers that were there, and this included the act that operated the CDF itself, the Constituency Development Fund Act, the Public Finance Management Act, the Procurement Act, all those that are sitting in the law. So we have reprofiled all those things, and I can comfortably say now that the barrier that we may have may only sit in one area, and that would be maybe the human attitudes. But I am also thankful to you, because in your question, you actually make an admission that the CDF is transforming people's lives. And let me just say that I invite people to go on our ministry website, even as they give us criticism, which we agree with, a positive criticism that is void of abuse. They must go to our website and see things in a broader sense, because we are living in a world, in a country, to be specific, where we have parliamentary democracy, constitutional democracy, and people are free to say what they want to say, because depending on where you are sitting, you see the world differently. And so we welcome all the recommendations that may improve the CDF, which has been grown, expanded exponentially by size and also by extent. And the intention, like I said in the beginning, is to make sure that we reduce the social challenges that our people are facing. We have done our instructions rather is that there must be no woman who will give life in unsanitary conditions. The directive to the councils has been that at all times, in all corners or every ward, there must be a maternity wing with running water, so that our women can give birth in dignified conditions, that we must have water, running water everywhere, that our children must sit on desks. This is a decree, and I'm glad to tell you, Luchi, now that arising from that presidential decree that no child should sit on the floor by end of this, we have now become overwhelmed with the issue of classroom space. Okay? What does that tell you? What that tells you is that the problem has been addressed. Why is it that one must ask themselves the question, why is it that when children were sitting on the floor, the classrooms were not full? The answer is, it's because the children were at home. Classrooms are overwhelmed. It's because, first of all, Mr. Hichilema, in his wisdom, which we all agree with, decided that we are not going to leave our children in the abyss, in the bottomless pit of not attaining an education. And so even at the time when we were campaigning, at the time when we generated this manifesto 2021-2026, we said we are going to make sure that there's a free education policy. It is there today. Before, people said, well, this is a joke. Where will they find the money? Isn't it happening, Luchi? The fact of the matter, it is happening. These are things that look a little bit latent, okay? And the opposite of latent is manifest, right? They look latent because no one really puts their mind to the fact that education is an equalizer. It's one that makes you, Luchi, sit there where you are, interviewing me, who is sitting here where I am as a minister of government, because you went to school, all right? There are so many children that were living off the wall, meaning living on the street. Not that they are homeless. They have parents which parents could not afford to take them to school. They were relegated to helplessness. These kids now are back in school. So those that you see that are off the wall now, that are living off the wall, is because either they have relegated themselves beyond redemption, which means you can't redeem them. They are finished. Today we have junkies, they call them, and I don't like the word junkies myself because it's fairly derogatory, you know. But the point is that they are there, these young boys and girls, and they are making children on the street, living in gutters, living in trenches. They are there. Did they come overnight? The answer is no. It means that there is a problem that happened sometime in the past. And to reverse all these problems, it requires a focus. It requires that even as people may be saying, no, this failure, that, as I read today, that the former president is saying UPND have not done anything since the last 3 years. We have done something. We closed Yokam Godi. We closed it. That is doing something. And it sits right at the front of our promise that we're going to bring law and order. The police, Luchi, had been usurped of their power of discipline, of enforcement of the law. The law was being enforced at Kamgodi. So it is disheartening. Sometimes we may want to now engage those who are saying no. Those who are standing on the pedestal today and opposing, when in their time, to be specific, in the time of PF, Luchi, people were living in fear. Fear of what? Fear of fellow human beings. Today someone can say people are living in fear. Yes, let's call it that. But what are they scared of? They should be scared of the law. Who put the law in? It is the people themselves through their representatives at the Manda Hill there, at the Legislative Assembly. Before, people could get away with murder, Luchi. It was possible to walk away with murder. Today, you cannot walk away even with stealing a pen. If you steal a pen, you'll be brought to the law. We are profiling this country to make sure that those who are going to come after us know that there was a set of leaders that came, that meant well to put society as it ought to be. I think I've answered you fairly clearly.
Yeah, you have. I do want to ask you just on some of the things that you've picked from. There's something that I thought was a bit interesting. When you highlight it, is that the failure sort of outweigh, when I say failure on a micro level. And that failure is, as you said, the cost of living. The failure of a campaign message, which was Bali will fix it. The argument can be, has anything actually been fixed from a micro level? Not from a, rule of law. Yes, you can tick,
Fine.
But I think maybe from a micro level is where I think a lot of people feel like they've been given a unfair deal by the government.
Let me just tell you now, part of what we promised, right, was to restructure the debt. 9.8 billion kwacha. No cosmetics. I want to be clear about this matter now. There should be no cosmetics because the micro settings relate to macro settings. There's no doubt about that. In the past, what was happening? You have a wife and you have kids and you wake up every day to go to work. You don't get paid, but you still feed your children because you go to Kalan Muchima here to borrow money. So you're living on borrowed money, and you tell Kalan Muchima, I'll pay you Nkabweshapa 30. The children go to school, they eat. They probably eat first class breakfast, bacon and eggs and everything. When 30 comes, you fail to pay Kalan. Then you go to Chila on the next month. What happened on the 20th of September? And please, I want to say it very slowly. What happened on the 28th of September 2020 is when Zambia clearly showed that we had a leadership that was not serious, a leadership that was fly by night, because they defaulted on the interest that was to be paid on the Eurobond. It was a big story then, and Zambians should not forget. What does that tell you? It should tell you that of this $9.8 billion that we inherited as a people, in arrears, both foreign and domestic. Domestic we haven't even talked about. We found a huge loan of more than $800 million in fuel, petrol, diesel. This is now the commodity that we accept is expensive. Okay? We found that debt. How was it accrued, that debt? Who accrued it? The same person who's saying you have not done anything? Where is the morality? And it's us who are paying his debt. It should be made clear. Because we are carrying the burden as they left it themselves. And this is what probably the guy at the micro setting at home may not understand. But it should be understood that even when we were campaigning, when we went to campaign, we told our citizens, even if you didn't go to the bank to borrow any money, PF borrowed money on your behalf. And as I remember, at the time when we were campaigning back in 2020, we said every Zambian alina Nkongole ya 35,000 kwacha, including a baby who was born in that year, if you decided to spread it to the citizen. Because when you borrow money, you borrow against the sovereignty of a nation which comprises human beings. So the ratio there was that every Zambian, young and old, who had not seen anything much but cadarism, people beating down others to submission, they had a Nkongole of 35,000 kwacha. This money has to be paid by who? Even if today, let's assume Zambians decided to be adventurous and say, and failure, by the way, is not even the word, Luchi. I would have preferred you say you have delayed to deliver. Delay is not failure. That's what I thought I was correct. So, yes, someone might come and say, well, things are not working in this area. They are delaying to work. We have been in government for 3 years. Only 3 years.
3 out of 5.
Yes, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yes, and Rome was never built in a day. Considering the amount of damage.
I agree.
Thank you if you agree.
I agree.
Considering
Rome
the
wasn't
amount
built in a
of
day.
damage that had been created. Okay? We can only plead for time with the people. And also, as we plead for time, because I can't wait for the lines to open, as we plead for time, we must always be mindful, especially those of us who still carry the vision and dream of UPND to fix this economy, that out of us who voted for UPND, there were 1,800,000 people who said no. And these people are still among the living. These people are the people who may have had some benefit of or another according to those that back in the days political setting, and they will not stop talking. They can go ahead and talk. They are there. We recognize them. We can only say that even as you criticize, for instance, I'm expecting that whoever calls must give me a solution to the things that we still consider as a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because then it becomes an interactive engagement. Somebody must say, apa, problem yamalaiti, manzi kulibe. I'll preempt this myself because many people have held this against me. When I was in the opposition, I said that it is easy to get a canal plucked out of Chembe River into Kafue River, because I think back in the year we had a similar drought. Okay? Now, I can say to you that that is a proposal that was written many years ago. Okay? And I still believe that that is something that we must do, because Chembe River is exclusive, a property of the Zambian people. Of course, it falls into Luapula River and then it becomes a shared resource. But at Bangweulu Chembe River, it's still possible to dredge a canal that will assist the Kafue River have water. But I'm glad to say this to you, that part of the gains that we have got to Mr. Hichilema's push to get this economy going, as in opening of 28 shaft in Luwansha, it has helped us a lot, because the dewatering process of that mine, all the water that we are pumping out is going into the Kafue River, in case people want to know. Yes, that Chembe River project is a project that must be done either in our time or after us. As soon as we manage to deal with the immediate challenges that we have today, namely the drought we are facing, it is a matter that a discussion, a conversation that must continue to happen. The issue of drawing water from Chembe River into Kafue River to supplement on the 2 power stations. It is part of the climate change resilience and adaptation plan. We must do that, because that water is simply going away. And it is still an idea that is alive. I have a Dr. Mlenga who I've been talking with. He's the one who generated that report. He's among the living here in Lusaka. It's a progressive idea. We must find a way to do it. ZNS can plug that canal. Now ZNS are very busy with the issue of assisting government to do things that are associated directly with the impact of what this drought has caused. As soon as things come back, I will be the first sponsor of that subject, to say this idea should not die. Let us try to do this. It is something that is still alive.
This is DJ Mutati exclusive.
Alright, that's all for you today, lovely viewers. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the video you just watched in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you, lovely viewers. Once again, I go by the name of Mutati Mpundu. I love you, peace, I gotta go.